Hi there. Welcome to another episode of This Week with God. This is a weekly program aired every Sunday on different media platforms. This program is targeted so that young people like you and me may get to know Christ as our personal Savior. So welcome to this episode, Hedgeless, yet faithful. Today's theme is based on the story of one of my favorite Bible characters, Job. Job's story starts with an introduction to who Job is. Go with me to Job chapter 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. Also, his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very large household, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. Now, I think that's a description every Christian envies, because that's what every single Christian wants, to be rich and well-to-do, and at the same time to be an upright and blameless Christian citizen. But as you know, Satan can't stand seeing God's children prosper by the right means. So he decided to give God a visit. Let's peek into their dialogue. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, "From where do you come?" So Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil?" Wow. The description of Job at the beginning of the book was pretty good, but it came from men. But this description comes from God himself. It seems pretty awesome to me that the CEO of the universe would talk of his creatures like that. It'd be so nice if God would talk about us like that. But Satan's purpose for his visit in heaven was not over yet. Look at what he responds to God after God exalts Job as his servant. So Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now, stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." First of all, you don't talk to God like that. I don't know what I would have done to Satan if he would have talked to me like that, if I were God. That was pretty disrespectful. But God's mercy is great, and so he went straight to what Satan was trying to say to him. He knew that what Satan wanted was to destroy Job and all that he possessed. And God, in his wisdom, saw this hateful desire as an opportunity to show his glory and to claim his name before the whole universe. So God let him do what he wanted, except with this condition. Only do not lay a hand on his person. And this is what Satan did. And a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys feeding beside them, when the Sabeans raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you." But that was not all. Here's the worst and most heartbreaking part. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead. And I alone have escaped to tell you." Oof. What a blow. In only a few hours, Satan got rid of all that Job possessed and loved. I mean, if it would have been only his servants and wealth, it would have still been hard. But his children? That's tough. I think Satan did not take his wife because of this. And the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Now, after all this news, we would even bet that Job cursed God. Because after all, Job was perfect, flawless. He was the perfect Christian. He knew how to balance out faith and works, something that today there are very few that can do that. So why would God even allow something like this to happen to someone like that? I bet Job was clueless and did not know what to do in the situation after losing it all. Yet this is what he did. Then Job arose, tore his robe, and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and worshipped. Fell and worshipped. He worshipped. He had just lost his camels, sheep, oxen, donkeys, servants, and children, and he worshipped? Yes, friends, that's what our friend Job did. He worshipped in the midst of loss, trial, and problems. And guess what? Verse 22 says that he did not sin nor charge God with wrong. Wow. With these words, I'd like to finish up with a couple of points. Number one, we better watch out how we talk to God, because what we say might be turned all the way around for the glory of God. Because at the end, God will always be glorified and honored in every situation. Number two, if we are on the right side of the fence, we will have trials, we will have problems, we will be tested. Why? Because Satan hates us. All he wants to see is the joy of God, us destroyed. That's his ultimate desire, to hurt God and make him look bad before the whole universe, because he wants honor for himself. So let's be strong and hold on, because there are new and bright days ahead. And number three, in the midst of it all, Job worshipped. Why? How? Well, I'll tell you. Job knew God. Even though he did not understand what was going on or why would God allow something like that, he knew that God was not betraying his faithfulness. He knew God enough to know that he was not going to leave him nor forsake him. He knew that God was fair and that whatever happened around him was under God's ultimate control. Number four, God trusted Job enough to tell Satan, go ahead, destroy all that he has, because he knew that Job wouldn't curse him back. He knew that Job would claim his name before the universe and that he would worship in the midst of all the bad things that happened around him. He knew that he could take the hedge he had put around him and that he would stay faithful. Can we be hedgeless and still be faithful?